Hello, welcome to Rose and Cotter Do the JOB. Wednesday's Territory Day. Bully Boy pick this week, and he's chosen Polynesian Pacific Wrestling from Hawaii. What was your reasoning behind that?
I don't really know, to be honest. I thought I fucking I just
I
went.
thought it was fucking random, like.
I went on to my little fucking chart in the room next door, and I seen it there, and I thought, it'll be a bit different. You won't expect me to pick that one, and it's just it'll be a bit different from everywhere else, I thought. So and I know that they have some big names there in the past, So I thought, and it was NWA as well, weren't it? Because they used to, like Flair and everyone used to slide through there and do stuff. So I thought it'd be all right. But yeah, I thought I'd give it a go and see what happens, So.
Do you know, I couldn't find much information about it. There's no Wikipedia or fucking, if you put it into Google, you just get like DVDs that are for sale and the matches that are on it. But I did find a video, like, that dude that makes like biographies of the territories. And I watched that. And that's the only place I could find like a whole lot of information about it. 1979 to 1988, so it was only around 9 years, which kind of shocked me because I always thought Hawaii was the same thing all the time. So, but
yeah,
before then it was called 50th State Wrestling, owned by Steve Rickard.
Is that the same? Is it the same company then, or
no? Peter Maivia, Rocky's granddad, bought it from Steve Rickard. So he bought the NWA rights to the area.
Right.
So he didn't buy the promotion as such. He just bought the rights to NWA Hawaii, and then he called it, Polynesian Pacific Wrestling from then. So that was 1979. But on that documentary thing, they said they bought what was left of 50th State Wrestling. So it sounds like it was sort of on its arse when they bought it.
I thought Peter Maivia was fucking. I thought that he'd had it for years before then.
He was like the star of Rickard's promotion, but he wasn't running it, sort of thing.
All right, okay.
So he was a big star there. Like when he bought it, apparently there was a feud between him and Bob Backlund happening in the WWF as well. So he was a big star, but just he didn't own the shop. And then in 1982, Peter Maivia died. So what's that? 3 years in, he died of cancer, bless him. But it was Peter Maivia's wish that his wife, Leah, ran it, or Leah, or I can't remember exactly how to say the name, but that's his wife, to run it then, making her one of the very few sort of female NWA promoters. I was thinking then, like, of other lady wrestling promoters at the time, and there's Christine Jarrett, who's Jerry Jarrett's mum. She was like Memphis, wasn't she? Ann Gunkel, who was Ray Gunkel's wife, from Georgia, and then I'm out of it after that. I'm fuck knows, I can't think of anyone else. So then it finished in '88 after a legal battle with other NWA promoters, but it didn't really give you any information on that. So fuck knows what happened there. The TV show showed shows from matches from other shows, just to package show out. So it showed matches from Georgia and Japan and fucking any other NWA promotions. Lots of wrestlers went there because it was an ideal place to go when you're going to Japan or going to Australia. It's like a stop-off point. If you're flying from America, they'll probably stop in Hawaii anyway. So you might as well get off the plane, do a fucking JOB, and then off you go. So it's a way of earning money as part of a trip.
Yeah.
So it's ideal, isn't it?
I think your picture's gone off the screen. I don't know if you can you see me?
I can see you and I can see me, yeah.
I can see me. I can't fucking see you. I'm sure it'll be fine when you're filming.
You don't need to see me.
Oh, well.
You're better off not seeing me, to be fair.
Yeah, I thought that. I didn't want to be rude though, you know.
Lars Anderson helped book. I don't know a great deal about Lars Anderson, to be honest with you.
No, I know a bit, but yeah, not a lot, to be fair.
Rocky Johnson, C.B. Affy, Mark Lewin, Don Morocco. Don Morocco was possibly the biggest babyface there, even though he was a villain everywhere else, apparently. And then Peter Maivia did the commentary once he took it over for that couple of years that he was around. That's all I can find. But it sounds like it was a hotbed of wrestling. But watching this, like they had all the stars, but just something just didn't seem to sort of gel for me in this TV show I watched.
Yeah, I had some stars on it, but like things just weren't really like meshing. It felt like, what year did you say he died? In 82?
Yeah.
Well, my show's from 86, so who would have been actually running it then, like booking it?
Lars Anderson.
Right, okay. Because shit was
Lars Anderson sort of started booking for Peter Maivia's wife.
right, okay. Because they had like good people on, but it just felt a bit odd to me. It wasn't like I can see it why it was kind of popular though, and like I think if I watched another show from round about that time, it might be a lot better. But like just the show that I picked just didn't seem to do much for me. You know what I mean?
But what I was gonna watch was 81, is the one I found, and I sort of earmarked to watch. And then, excuse me. And then when I started watching it, I read the comments underneath, and the show was incomplete, like it wasn't the full TV. So I thought, oh, fuck that, I won't watch that one. I'll find another, which was 85.
Right. Okay.
Maybe I should have just fucking stuck to 81 and not had the whole show, because I might have had maybe I've had Peter Maivia's television then rather than Lars Anderson's television. But
Yeah.
that's what it is. Shall I go first? Mine's a years before you.
Yeah.
Right. It goes straight into the show. There's no like introduction or anything on the YouTube video. The first match, I still don't know who the fuck is in it. I don't recognise either of them, and the commentary is a bit sort of shady. So I don't exactly know who the fuck they are.
Right.
There's not a crowd there, and it what looks like fucking wooden sort of or almost deck chairs. They look like they're sat on. And
Was it that Aloha place, Arena, Aloha, whatever it's called?
Like the commentary was really crackly, so it was really hard to fucking work out what the fuck they were saying or where they were from.
Yeah, my commentary was the same, but the reason I know what all the matches were is because in the description of the video it had the matches listed.
Right, now there was shit all in this one.
All right.
There was a chubby guy, like well built, not fat, but like a fucking well built guy in blue trunks and no knee pads against Canadian flag man. I've got because he had like trunks on with the maple leaf on each arse cheek, and he was fucking well put together. Now, the only name that I could barely make out, which I might have just been making up based on what I could hear, was Barry Hart. Now, I don't know whether there is a Barry Hart, or I know Barry Horowitz used to be Barry Hart, and that's what I thought at the start because I could only see the fat dude, and I thought maybe it's Barry Horowitz when he was like Bret Hart and fucking Buddy Hart and all the other fucking names. I thought maybe there he was Barry Hart. But it wasn't him. It was fucking there was Muscly Man, which I could maybe guess was Barry Hart, and Fat Dude. It was slow as fuck. Nothing happened. Like fuck all happened. They'll put each other in things and then they'll hold it on. There'll be no real selling. There'll be fucking nothing happened. Nothing. Fuck all happened in this match at all whatsoever. Fatty was the face, and then the bell rang, and that was that. That was a time limit draw. The bell rang, and then the man with the muscles did a small package, and then after the man with the muscles that was fucking like clearly the villain, yeah, ding ding. Then there's a small package, terribly timed there, muscle man. And then they sort of break off and they shake hands like everything's fucking rosy. He's just fucking battered you. Anyway, that was that. So not a great start. I think I was down after that, to be fair, because I was thinking of these big names and fucking, good territory shit going on. The next match came on then, which was like a totally different time period. It was like clips rather than a show. But this one apparently was the 4th annual Peter Maivia tribute show, or match, or tribute match, or whatever.
Okay.
A dude called the Medic of Mayhem in a white mask and white outfit, who looked really fucking good and was really good, to be fair, with his manager, who's like very flamboyant, sort of what's his name, Grand Wizard kind of look.
Right.
Called Mal Phillips, not the fucking WWF paedophile Mal Phillips. He's versus a fella called Muto from Japan, who's Great Muta in what look. It was Great Muta dressed as Ricky Steamboat. That's the only way I could describe him. Yeah, it is actually Muta.
All right.
No face paint, black tights on, not his baggies like we normally, got used to seeing him in. But this is, before his Muta days. And they always announced him as the Medic of Mayhem, not just the Medic of Mayhem, and not just Muto, but Muto from Japan. Everything was Muto from Japan. It wasn't like the Japan, from Japan, Muto. It was Muto from Japan. That was actually his name, Muto from Japan. But this match was all right, to be fair. Medic gets pushed to the ropes a couple of times. Muta fucking arm drags the shit out of him. Medic with a top wrist lock, and he sort of goes over from the top wrist lock. He sort of sends himself over to do a head scissors takeover, which is very cool. Muta handsprings right out of it, like to his feet, like it was fuck all. Muta headlocks. The Medic drop toe holds him as he comes off the ropes, works the leg for a little bit. They swap some arm stuff. Then the Medic sort of takes the control there. Then he works up to the shoulder and starts working the shoulder a little bit. He's doing the cheating shit and using the ropes and stuff. And Muta fires up and takes the Medic's arm then. The Medic takes the head and works that for a bit. Then he goes back to the arm again. Muta looks pretty sort of new here. I don't know when Muta started, but he was pretty sort of... He was clearly being led by this Medic of Mayhem. It was really fucking good. Both of them were good, don't get me wrong. But there were times where, like, Muta's selling wasn't... He was always selling looking down.
Right, okay, yeah.
And that kind of shit. Anyway, Muta fires up at one point, does that fucking, that elbow where he sort of does a backflip and fucking bosh.
All right.
For the time, would have been fucking revolutionary, wouldn't it? 85. It was a moonsault finish as well, again, for the time. Like, what's the fucking chances of seeing that? But, like they said, they get people from Japan on the way to America. And I know Muta did a lot for, like, Florida and stuff, so he could have been on the way there, couldn't he? But, yeah, that was all right, that. You can't knock that one at all. The third one, I've not written a lot about because it was exactly the same fucking match on the Houston tape that we watched recent. When we did Houston, this match was on, and it's not the same match, but not the same actual match, but the same people in it doing exactly the same thing. NWA Ladies title, Donna Day versus Debbie Combs, the champion. Very good match, like the most psychology out of the four that are on. But primarily, it was Donna Day pulling Debbie Combs' hair in a top wrist lock, which is really hard to put over, but it was a really entertaining match because there was lots of psychology. But to put that over in a talking fashion, that is literally all they did. But it was done in such a way that it was really good. Miss Linda, Adrian Street's missus, and the Fallen Angel, who became Woman, are on the commentary.
Right.
Because they're wrestling here as well at some point, sort of plug in their ladies matches while this ladies match is on. The finish it's pretty much a waist-lock roll-up, but then there becomes bridges with it as well. But I didn't write a whole lot because they did nothing. They did nothing for a long time, but they did nothing really well. So that's off to them for that. You can't knock that at all. And then the last match, this was all right, but it was from Japan, which would have been all right in Japan because it was that style, you know. But
Yeah.
like me being a bit fucking OCD, I was ready for Hawaii, and I got Japan. It was all right. Tatsumi Fujinami versus Kerry Von Erich. And this looked fucking strong. This was like fucking, you know, how you typically imagine Japanese wrestling to be. This was it. But, you know,
Right.
one is Japanese and the other fucker's Kerry Von Erich, who that's Texas style, isn't it? Very strong lockups, like right fucking whoosh, like them bad boys. Clean breaks a couple of times. Kerry Von takes the arm and just punches the fuck out of it for what seems like an hour. Tatsumi Fujinami into an armbar, hammerlock, you know, lots of arm stuff, lots on the floor. Fujinami's always got like a swanky way of getting out of things, though. Those rolls and nip ups and sort of high stuff to get out of things. He takes the head eventually. Kerry Von Erich gets the head scissors on. Fujinami sort of works his way out of it, right, really quite uniquely, very Johnny Sainty. There's a lot of arm stuff mid-match. This is quite odd. I don't know whether this is Kerry just having one of his fucking away days. Fucking Kerry's in an arm bar thing, like a fucking just a wrist lock, really. And Kerry just goes, nah. He just totally shit cans it. He just kind of walks off like nothing's happened. They've been doing it for a while as well, like exchanging things. And Kerry's like, nah. And just walks on, and then they do something else. There's a test of strength that Kerry wins. Fujinami sort of fights up, gets Kerry on the floor. Kerry bridges up real nice. Then there's a shit fucking hell. Fujinami drop kicks the fucking chin off Kerry at one point, like knocks his jaw into the third row. Fucking have some of that. Then there's like a right good claw spot, right? Kerry's got the claw on. It's nearly over now, isn't it? It's got to be fucking game over for Fujinami. I thought, to be fair, it's fucking finished here. Fucking Fujinami breaks it, puts his own claw on. Now there's like fucking the tide's turned, isn't it? Then Kerry Von applies the claw to Fujinami's belly. So they've got a pair of claws on. Fujinami gets to the ropes for the break. There's a right scuffle, both out the ring. I thought, all right, double count out, right? Two big stars, star of Japan, star of the NWA. We've got a fucking count out now. Wasn't a count out. Fujinami's in first, Kerry on the apron, goes to suplex him back in. Fujinami goes behind him, German suplex. I thought, fuck me, we like bridge fucking jobs are good. I thought Fujinami's over. I'm getting everything in my head because anything could happen at this point, isn't it? Just the two on that fucker. Up gets Kerry. Fujinami goes to pick Kerry up. Small package done. The finish was very nice. It was all very nice, to be fair. But I can't judge that as Hawaii because it was the fucking match from Japan.
Yeah.
But there were long matches as well. Except that first one that I still didn't know who the fuck he is. Fat Man and Canadian Muscle Man. But yeah, the best match on was the match from Japan. So I can't judge what Hawaii is like because I didn't see enough of it. Maybe I'll look for some more. What knows?
Wow. So yeah, we'll go on to mine. Mine was from August the 30th, 1986. There was a title, a name of the show, but I forgot what they said, to be honest. But that was the date of it. starts with a Bruiser Brody promo, but I couldn't really make it out that well because the quality of the picture was okay, but the sound was a bit shit. So I couldn't really I couldn't really understand what he was saying, but that's how it started anyway. Brody just talking a little while. There looked like there was a few in, but there was still a lot of empty seats. Like in a smaller venue, it would have looked fucking rammed. Do you know what I mean? But I think because it's so spaced out, there looked like that towards the back there was quite a lot of empty seats. There's still a few in though. But yeah, the first match is actually Jerry Lawler against Steve Rickard, actually.
Oh.
Lawler's got a valet with him, but I couldn't make out who she was. A blonde, but I don't know. And Steve Rickard looks like pretty fucking old at this point, to be fair. 86. I don't know how old he was, but he certainly was a veteran by this point.
I don't think Steve Rickard's ever looked great though. It's like even when I watched that on the Matt show from like the very early 80s, he looked fucking old. Yeah. You know, like it was like he was born old.
Yeah. They say it's for the British Commonwealth title. But I think Steve must have left his belt at home because he's coming to the ring without any belt. They do say that it's for the title and Steve Rickard's the champion, but there was no belt. So I don't know if the commentators got it wrong or if he just left his belt. I don't know what the case was, but yeah. So they go into the match with a tie-up, get to the corner, and Steve, who's the face, gives a couple of clean breaks. Bit of a slow start. They're a bit fucking cautious going into it. Jerry takes the wrist. Rickard switches it and works on Jerry's arm for a while. Lawler does the hair pull and switches it on Rickard, but the referee notices the hair pull and gets Lawler to like break it. So he does. So they're back to like fucking, one-on-one type situation. Rickard goes back on the arm, working on it. Lawler forces him to the corner. Same situation as the early going, but instead of a clean break, Lawler gives him a fucking cheap shot. Lawler gives him a little bit of heat there. Lawler puts a chin lock on the ground. Rickard switches it on the ground. So then Rickard switches it into a hammerlock, and Lawler just crawls along the floor to the fucking ropes. Rope break. They go into a commercial. And then they come back and they're back in action and fucking Rickard's back on the arm again. It looked all right. Like the match itself was very stop-starty. Both being very cautious going into like the shit they were doing. There's a lot of grappling going on at this point. Lawler's putting the head scissors on the floor. Rickard gets out of it and then he's like back on the arm. Lawler gets into the ropes again. Lawler takes control again, and there's loads of punches and fists. And then Rickard goes back in control, but it's very back and forth, but it doesn't quite get going. It's just like they'll do a couple of spots, like a couple of holds. They'll get to the ropes. There's not like any fluency like to the match. It's like. It is fairly enjoyable. I'm not like I just kept expecting it to get to that next level.
Get to the point of heat.
Yeah, and Lawler, the finish comes as well. Like before any like major comeback or anything happens, Lawler picks him up for the atomic drop, and just crotches Rickard on the top rope, and he gets DQ'd for it. So like Rickard goes over via DQ, but. It was just really weird. Like I can see Lawler getting DQ'd. I think it was kind of the right decision, like the right outcome of a match because I guess Rickard.
I couldn't see Lawler back then doing the job anywhere else.
No,
because he was such a fucking big star in his town. And I know being in Hawaii wouldn't have made a blind bit of difference to what happened in Memphis, but it just seemed that how wrestling was back then. You protected your fucking wins and your losses, didn't you?
Yeah, and like I said, I think a DQ is the perfect outcome. It was just the match itself. I thought it would have just been a bit better with like maybe a big comeback or something where it looks like Rickard's fucking going over and then Lawler, fuck it, you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
it just seemed to happen in the middle of the heat, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was like I was waiting on it getting started. I don't know if they were going to do anything else, like an angle or anything, but I wouldn't have thought so. I didn't even know fucking Lawler had ever been to fucking Hawaii, to be fair.
It seems an odd combination of a match, that doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I mean,
yeah,
it
totally different styles that they've got.
Yeah, it was a bit odd, but yeah, the match itself wasn't that bad. It was just okay. It just didn't get started. And I love Lawler, and I thought that Rickard being a big, big-ish name, I guess he's quite a popular face there. But yeah, it was a bit of a letdown, but it wasn't terrible by any stretch. It was just an okay match that I thought would have added a bit more, but it didn't. But yeah, we'll go on to match number 2. This was fucking wait till I tell you what these fuckers are called. So this is a midget match,
right?
And they've got one of them's little Kevin.
Little Kevin. Where did they get these fucking names? Oh, his name's Kevin, and he's 3 foot. Righto.
Wait till you hear this other fucker's name. The next guy is called Chili Bo Diddley. I couldn't make it up, but yeah, that's what he's called, Chili Bo Diddley. So this match was quite shit.
Even for a midget match. Well, it's funny in Gaga through the legs, bite the arse.
Do the what?
When it like through the legs and bite the arse, or was it that bad?
You see, I like a good midget match, and I think you do as well. And I like a good comedy match as you do. But it's kind of funny because it felt like there was parts of the match where they would do, I'll get to the point in a bit, but the things they were doing would be funny if the execution was better. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'll run through it from the beginning. So it's like a real quick kind of match, a little bit of, just trying to get some laughs from the crowd and stuff. Kevin's against the ropes, little Kevin, and he moves out the way. Diddley goes out through the fucking ropes as he runs at him. They're back at it, and Kevin's in control. He does a fucking beautiful pile driver, and this was the first fuck up of the match. Beautiful power driver, absolutely perfect. Looked like he fucking KO'd him, and I'm sure the referee counted to 3. I'm not no mathematician, but I can count to fucking 3. And he didn't. I'm sure he hit the mat 3 times, but that wasn't it. It was apparently a 2 count. So that was that, and then fucking they go to a commercial. They come back in. Fucking Chili Bo Diddley's in control now. Then they do the spot where this was fucking this made me fucking laugh. So they do the spot where one of the midgets is pinning the other one. The ref's counting, and the midget kicks him off, and the ref catches the midget,
puts him back.
Yeah, and puts him back on top of him. But as the midget's pinning him, the ref's not counting. He pinned him for at least 27.5 seconds, and the ref's just stood up on his fucking feet, just staring at them. And both the midgets are kind of what's happening here? Then finally, he fucking kicks him off and he catches him, puts him on. It gets a couple of laughs from the crowd, but the fact the ref's just watching them as he's clearly pinning him, and then
the comedy timing's lost then as well, isn't it?
You're sorry.
Comedy timing's fucked then as well, because the fucking gap waiting to get the pin, yeah.
Yeah, and then they do it again a few seconds later, and then the referee just drops the midget by accident, so that fucked that momentum up. And then, so the second time they're doing it, the ref actually is counting. But then as he kicks out, the ref's not catching him this time, but he still throws him on top of him. Typical comedy spots, but they just weren't crisp. They were like, they're good spots if they're done right, and they just didn't quite go on. But the finish though was quite good. They do like they do the tackle where Kevin takes the tackle and then he sleeps, but being the midget, instead of sleeping, he just sleeps on like all fours rather than like flat. You know what I mean? So he sleeps on all fours, and then Diddley runs up to him, and you know that pin where you kind of sit on the back as you're facing away from them, roll on your front and pin their shoulders. You know what I mean?
I quite like that.
Yeah, it's a really good little pin. And that was a finish for the 3 count, which was it was a really good finish. It was a poorish match with a good finish, basically. That was it.
So they need to be watching Tiger Jackson and fucking Little Louie, don't they, really?
They do. Tiger Jackson's probably my favourite midget wrestler of all time.
You think, like, what was this, 86? You think of all the fucking big name midgets that were doing the territories, like Moolah had the ladies, there was Lord Littlebrook and the fucking midgets, right? Doing all the territories, going around everywhere. And they were fucking household names, weren't they? And then in Hawaii, they had little Kevin and fucking Bo Diddley.
Chili Bo Diddley, yeah. So that was that. Yeah, that was another like poorish. You know, that was
Sky Lolos and your little Tokyos.
Yeah, but that was that. Right. The third match is Bad News Allen against Alexis Smirnoff.
Oh, was Alan a babyface here then?
Alan is, yeah. First time I think I've ever seen him as a baby.
Yeah.
They do apparently it's meant to be a judo match, right? So Alan does a promo, a face promo, and I've even wrote on my book like a shocked face. Yeah, because I've never seen him as a face before, so that totally blew my mind. I couldn't make up too much what he's saying because, like I say, the quality wasn't all that great. But Alan gives Alexis Smirnoff like a judo outfit, like a gi, I guess it's called. Smirnoff just throws it on the floor, stomps on it, and just attacks Alan. So it turns into a fucking actual wrestling match. I'm sure in the description it says judo match, so I think that's what it was meant to be. But just jumps him and starts the match there. Now the whole match is basically heat from Smirnoff. That's all it fucking is. It's literally, I've never seen Bad News Allen get the shit kicked out of him the way he is here. It's literally all Smirnoff. And he puts a sleeper on. The arm drops a couple of times. Allen backs up into the corner to break it, but fucking not for long, and he's back on him. Fucking Smirnoff applies the camel clutch. All fucking one-sided, literally all fucking one-sided. He misses the standing headbutt just from the floor as Alan moves out the way. Fucking Alan hits a few fucking moves for a comeback and then a big clothesline for the 3 count, and it's over there and then. So literally it wasn't really a comeback. It was literally getting the shit kicked out of him for the whole match. And then fights back and hits a massive clothesline for the 3 count. Again, it was like really weird because it felt like similar to the first match where you're waiting for something to happen and then it just ends like that. It was a bit weird. I wasn't really too sure what to make of it because like it wasn't, I don't know, he just got battered the whole match, then hits the clothesline for the win. Like, just looked a bit odd to me. But
it seems a bit odd having the babyface, who's the judo man, wrestling someone else in a judo match anyway. Like, normally that kind of shit's the villain. Like, if the villain was the judo man, he could lay the challenge down and the wrestler accepts it, right? And he's the underdog, isn't he?
Yeah.
When the Russian's the fucking underdog, and it turns into a wrestling match, you would have thought the punters would be happy because we're not here to see fucking judo anyway.
Yeah, but yeah, true.
They overthink
Um,
everything. You hadn't seen a fucking Smirnoff until a couple of weeks ago, and now you've done 2 in a row, haven't you?
I know. Fucking hell. And anyway, wait till you hear about the fucking fourth and final match. Well,
I'm ready.
this one blew my mind. So, number 4, I've not wrote a lot for it because there's fuck all to write, but it's a body slam match between Bruiser Brody and Grizzly Smith.
Right.
Grizzly Smith is a fucking big old dude, and I'm thinking, from a fan's point of view, Brody the face, I'm thinking, I'm looking forward to this fucker because just to see if he can slam him, they're just about to start the guanin. Then there's a big schmoz at the start. Kamala comes in, the Sheik comes in, Lars Anderson
Did
comes
Kamala
in.
have a different name? Was she like chameleon? Like Kamala. They mentioned
Yeah.
Kamala, fine. But they didn't call him Kamala. Well, they did call him Kamala, but it was like Kamala.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know what the fuck that was all about. Unless he was just new to the area and they just didn't know how to fucking say it.
Probably. He looked a bit different. He had like a face thingy on his face, like a mask type gimmick, but didn't have the fucking moon and shit on him either.
Right.
But yeah, so Kamala comes in, so does the Sheik. Lars Anderson and Mark Lewin also come in. So there's like 6 guys in the ring now. All fucking whining. I don't know who's on which fucking side. Fighting everywhere. Chairs flying. Fucking this and that. Then they get rid of the 4, I think. So all the attention now is on Grizzly Smith and fucking Brody in the ring. Looks like we're finally gonna get it cracking. And then they shake hands, embrace, like now they're friends, and then they go outside fighting in the crowd with all the other guys. 6 guys just fighting out the crowd. The main event, body slam match that I was looking forward to as a fan, paying to go and watch that fucker, I'd have been fuming. But there's no match. They just scrapped the main event, and that's how it ends.
So what are they now? Both baby faces and turned on the 4 villains? Like, fuck them. What are they getting involved with? Shit.
It's not 4 villains. It's, I think, Kamala and Sheik are villains, and Lars and Mark Lewin are faces, maybe.
Right, and they're battering all of them.
Yeah, so it kind of turns there. I think Kamala and Sheik interfered first, and Lars and Mark Lewin came down to even up, or something along them lines. I wasn't quite sure. That could have been what was happening, but it looked like it was going to turn into a 6-man. But they just kind of all brawled through the crowd, and that was basically it. And that's how it ended. So there was no main event, no match. And I don't know, they'd have been rather stupid to fucking advertise it as a main event, wouldn't they? A body slam match, and then not actually give them it. So I don't know the situation if it was announced beforehand, but surely as a fan, you go in there for the main event, body slam match.
After the fucking build of them 2 badasses, you want to see some fucker get slammed, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you like, because Brody's a big dude, but Grizzly Smith was fucking humongous, so you'd be rooting for Brody to like slam him, and then it just turns into that. So I thought it was very odd the way it just finished like that without they announced the match, and it just kind of didn't happen. So yeah, that was basically the end of it. I think like fairly disappointed overall of the show, but I think there's a lot of fucking looking at it. There was a lot of potential and a lot of good shit could come from like their shows. I think I just picked the wrong one, to be honest. Like,
was Lars Anderson known for his booking?
not as far as I'm aware.
No.
Like,
well, that clearly shows, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know that fucking. I don't know where would Ollie have? Who would have like taught Ollie like? Because Ollie was a fucking master booker.
Like, would it have been a Eddie Graham or
Possibly.
or some? Maybe you just get it from fucking being around it and just soaking it in from all the people that you travel with in your youth.
Yeah, but yeah, that could be right as well. But like I say, it was just a weird one. That I think every fucking match was fairly odd. Like the finish of the Lawler match was strange. The fucking Bad News one where he got battered and then just won with a line, and it was meant to be a judo match. He had the fucking body slam match that wasn't even a match at all. It just, you know what I mean? It was like really odd. Like all of it was like bizarre to me. You know,
I think I had a better mix of matches, but like the best match I had wasn't their match. So it's like, you know, through default, it was the best match, wasn't it? Muta and that medic was good.
yeah.
But
Well,
it was just all right. It was just all right.
it's weird because it says something about my show when the fucking most normal match of the four was the fucking midgets.
Yeah.
You know, the actual.
And that was Dorothy.
Yeah, that was fucking something, I tell you.
Oh well.
It was an experience, if anything.
Friday, the Glamour Girls. You know, because there's not many Glamour Girls. If you find Judy Martin and Leilani Kai, as long as you get one Glamour Girls, and then Judy Martin and Leilani Kai in either another tag or singles, it all works the same, yeah?
Yeah.
As long as the Glamour Girls are involved in some fashion. Monday, Doinks of any ilk. That opens a lot of fucking doors, don't it?
Fucking does. There'll be about 24 matches, no more than 4.
Next Wednesday, because I don't do a lot, been fucking locked down, really. I've watched all sorts of fucking random territories, and I had like 4 different fucking picks for today, and every day I fucking changed my mind, thinking, right, Wednesday I'll have this one, and Wednesday I'll have that one. But last night I sort of locked it in, Noel, and I've chosen from the Crockett's Mid-Atlantic TV.
Oh, yeah.
Which was a pretty big time. It was like, you know, late 70s through to the maybe 86.
Yeah, I was going to do that last time. You know, when I went with Georgia Championship Wrestling, I almost went with Mid-Atlantic.
It's kind of inspired by Georgia, because where there's Georgia, there's the Carolinas. You know what I mean? They're the 2 NWAs, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like them other NWAs we've done, they were great. But Georgia and the Carolinas are the NWA.
Yeah,
so,
they are.
Mid-Atlantic. There was two Crockett TV shows mainly, Mid-Atlantic Wrestling and Worldwide. So I'll save Worldwide and we'll do Mid-Atlantic. Bosh. I don't think I've seen a really shit Mid-Atlantic show ever. There's always something on it, even if it's just a fucking 30-second promo. There's something on it that makes you go, fuck me, that's good. Yeah, winner. Glamour Girls, Friday. Doing Monday. Crockett, Mid-Atlantic Wednesday. See you then.